Hello, I'm Joshua of Milestone Play, and I am a professional game master. Today we're going to talk about accents. Well, rather, we're not going to talk about accents. Me and my players are going to talk about accents. You see, I just got back from a trip to Europe where, yes, I was visiting some of my European players. We went to the UK Games Expo. It was great. However, I also did a player interview with them, the same player interview I did with my players in the Midwest United States, Southern United States. But I asked them one additional question, and that has to do with accents. Within the fantasy genre, there's a whole lot of work with accents, whether you're watching movies, playing games, any of that stuff. And a lot of the fantasy content that I'm exposed to is American-based fantasy content. Despite that, we have an absolute love of the British Isles, of different English, different Scottish, different Irish accents, as well as accents all across Europe and even farther beyond. With that, I always feel a little funny doing an accent. I don't know if I'm like making a character of the accent, if I'm absolutely botching it. Like, I don't want players to feel like I'm making fun of them if I'm doing a caricature. So it's always this really weird situation whenever I'm doing accents. I love them, I love playing with them, but I can't really get them in my ear. I can't keep a consistent accent, and I don't know if the accents are any good. So I spoke with my European players about their opinions on it, and I figured you might enjoy listening to it. So yeah, let's talk about accents.
It can go both ways for me, I think. There was a character recently where it was Vendetta, and I don't think you could decide on which accent to do, because sometimes you'd go like sort of like Eastern European, Russian sort of vibe, and then you cut back to like your American. But I actually really liked the Eastern European. I thought it was pretty good, and it made like a different flavour to the game. But then I've also had games where people have tried to do like an English accent, and even though I'm like North England and I have a bit of a more distinct accent than like Queen's English, when people try to do it and they butcher it, it sort of like cringes me out.
Yeah. I think my answer would be, I would want to make 2 points. The first is, I don't mind if, I think it's cool when people try to do accents, and I don't mind if they do something wrong, because obviously we're doing a fantasy world and I'm not expecting everyone to, do everything like perfectly, whether it's role-playing or playing the game on a mechanical level or like talking like characters, right? For example, I don't think that in world Genus has an accent, but I do have one, and I couldn't for the life of me try to not have one, right? And so if you want to make, as a DM, you want to make your characters distinct, at some point you got to try something. It's okay if it doesn't replicate perfect Russian or whatever that would even be, right? But on the other end, because you were talking about Vendetta, and I liked Vendetta's accent, but something that I just couldn't wrap my head around is, she grew up in this village where everyone spoke like us, but somehow she had this accent, and I did not understand why. And this is the thing with accents, where I sometimes think, I wish people would put some thought into why a certain character had an accent. Like, where are they coming from? Are they talking like this because this is like all the people from there talk? Or, is it like derived from some, is the language that they originally speak like sounding like German? Doesn't have to be German, so then it makes sense that it would sound, But this is, I think, like a super high level critique I'd have, where it's just like me thinking a lot about the game and then noticing stuff like that and asking myself like, okay, how can I square this to not break my immersion?
Yeah, which I think is true, and I've thought about like while we've been playing, is because I don't do accents, like for all my characters basically sound the same. They might have a little twinge of a bit more gruff or something like that.
Sure.
But like if we ever get to West's hometown, will all them have like a British accent?
Like you,
yeah. Like will all them have like a Yorkshire accent? But then also, like you said, like you speak with a German accent and your character might not have a German accent in world.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like a good way to think about it, which I'd never thought about before.
So on Vendetta, starting with an Eastern European accent, that was intentional. I kind of wanted to do that for the entire village, and that didn't happen. And I think I'm very bad at accents. I start in one accent, and over the course of a conversation, I will roam the globe as I don't have an ear for accents. And there's sometimes I go to speak as Vendetta, and I just can't find the sound in my ear to make it come out of my voice.
I can completely relate. I understand.
So yeah, there's always that intention, but yeah, it's something that even I, as a professional game master, I struggle with. So like I wanted to get your guys' opinion on that topic, because you are the one that is exposed to the idea of role-playing games, especially fantasy role-playing games. Like, oh, we're going to do all these accents. Well, a lot of them, like, they're your accents. So I don't know if there were opinions, and clearly you were willing to share some of them.
I think it's weird though. Like, Broxton's accent was just me.
Yeah.
And then Sigismund's accent was a bit more upbeat and charismatic, and oh, hello.
It's
like,
true, and you did it well. You did it
Yeah.
well. I could distinguish them.
Yeah.
You did it really well.
And then with West, I've sort of tried to go even more monotone, and like, yes, I agree, we should do this.
Yeah.
And but it's literally just pitched tones of my own voice.
Maybe some like speed at which you're speaking,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, accents have bother me. If you try and fail, at least you tried, and it might be good, then we can tell you, oh, that was a good accent.
Sure, and I think comes back to this, like, I hope you feel like, safe with us, trying things with us, because I doubt that you could get better at it if you're not trying it, and I don't think that anyone's like born with this innate sense for different accents and how they.
The worst that could happen is we're just gonna laugh at you.
Yeah, and then we're all gonna have a good laugh.
Like, I always think about, I don't know if you do this, like, if I miss a session and I know my character's there, and then you try and interact with my character, does Josh try to do my British accent?
So that's something that terrifies me. There's been times where a player's been gone, and I've like, okay, I go to roleplay the character, and sometimes, like, I don't think I did it good, but like, I know I did an impersonation of you for Broxton. It wasn't Broxton. To an extent, I was impersonating you, trying to sound like your character. And that is also very uncomfortable. Am I doing an accent for the character, or am I somehow making a caricature of the player?
So what I'm going to say to this, because I have witnessed you doing Dave or Broxton and Olivia or and I think Anna also, right?
You did Varric like 2 nights ago. That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah. What I'm going to say is, I don't think you're mimicking the accent of these people, but I think you're very good at mimicking like speech patterns and like the vocabulary that someone would use. And so it's like very convincing when I hear you speak. I can hear Dave's voice saying these things. It's very easy to transpose it, even though you don't sound like Dave, right? That's something else.
That's true.
Thanks for watching the video. It was made with the support of our patrons over on Patreon, where you can see behind-the-scenes content and the development of our own TTRPG systems. If you're looking to join a game, head on down to the description where we have a link to our Discord. You can join long-form campaigns, short mini-series for bite-sized narratives, or quick dips into systems you don't want a long-term commitment to, or you can join our Tower of Taziok. Tower of Taziok is a 5th edition infinite dungeon with roguelite elements, legacy play, and downtime synchronous with the real world. After you form a house of patronage, every week that passes in your life, your character gets a week of downtime. Everything else you can check out milestoneplay.com. And yeah, thanks for watching. Let's get going.